Hey folks, we're in Missouri, the American state of Missouri, and we're in the southern half, I would say, of Missouri, and in a sedimentary rock setting called the Ozark Plateau. Quite famous, actually. It extends further to the south into the state of Arkansas, and yeah, that's probably, those two states have most of it. Maybe a little bit in Oklahoma as well. And we are not just in the sedimentary system, but in a sedimentary system where there's a lot of limestone. So first indications that I'm right. I see sedimentary rock over there in the back, layered in a way that kind of fits with limestone, although it could still be other rock from the distance. Now other indications are those rocks over there, where you see water flowing over the rock. You see mosses grow on top of that area where the rock is, where that water is flowing, and I will tell you that that is also a place where new rock is forming, because the water flowing there is very rich in calcium carbonates, and that will precipitate. You know the word probably, precipitate, as secondary calcium carbonate, so newly formed secondary calcium carbonate, called tufa. There's a video I think I have online about tufa as well. So yes, this is a limestone area, and with limestone, as long as you have sufficient precipitation, rainfall, comes the development of karst topography. And karst topography is what you get through the mechanism of dissolution of limestone. So limestone is a pretty good dissolver. It's on the one hand a pretty hard rock. Look, it's standing up there easily. But it's on the other hand a really good dissolver. All the cracks that exist in limestone, formed after lithification and after uplift of this limestone, all those cracks are relatively easily broadened and enlarged by water that's percolating through them, especially if that water becomes slightly acidic as it goes through the soil and picks up humic acids, so compounds that are formed in soil that are a little bit acid, make the water acid, and then that acid water dissolves the limestone all the better. So the Ozark Plateau is an amazing example of that process, leading to landscapes that are karst landscapes, named after a region in Slovenia, by the way, in Europe, where this is also very, very prevalent, very, very beautiful to see. And so those karst landscapes are limestone dissolution landscapes with all the features that correspond to that. Many caves, many underwater lakes. In fact, right now I am here in Devil's Well, Missouri. As I said, Devil's Well, Missouri. It's actually the largest underwater lake in Missouri. When you go here, which you should, you will see that all the way down there in that little plateau that you can go to, that plateau is still 100 feet above the water level of that underwater lake, which is really, really large lake, and the space that the lake occupies has originally formed through the dissolution of limestone. You can imagine if one crack is a little bigger than the other one, then that one gets all the water, dissolves even faster, and so ultimately you can form these really large cavities and caves and underwater water flow systems. All the water that falls into the cave, not only here but elsewhere and regionally, through many small waterfalls from the surface, ultimately makes its way to the local base level, which is the Current River. The Current River has many cold springs coming at it from the side. This is also very common for a karst landscape. You have a river that is cut down to base level, and all the springs that come from these underground water systems, they all provide cold, clear, clean water to those rivers. That's why those rivers are so amazing to float in, especially if it's hot. So that's something you should do. The really cool thing last thing I want to mention here about this particular cave, Devil's Well, and for the record, well is a really bad name for this thing because it's the opposite of a well. It's kind of a sinkhole, isn't it? This lake has blind lakefish, blind southern lakefish in it, and yeah, you might ask yourself, why are these fish blind? Well, there's nothing to see. It is normally dark. Now we've provided some light for tourists to see. Those fish have evolved under a dark regime, and so why spend energy on eyes? Rather spend your energy on something else. So they're really, really special, really rare fish, and that's of course why this landscape is rightfully protected. It is a national park. Even if it's a tiny one, it is a national park. So yeah, best wishes from Devil's Well in Missouri. A karst landscape, in this case with a sinkhole, a collapsed roof to that underwater cavity with the largest underground lake in Missouri. You should go here.